This is an adapter for using a earlier type distributor on an earlier engine if the engine has been fitted with the later shorter nosed cam. And there you can see the various dimensions. And there, what I wanted, the most important thing, is the offset, which is 31 to 32 thou. And there's a kind of image of the completed item. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make a version of this which will allow me to put the distributor on old Rusty, which has the slot, the drive modified to suit an incorrectly machined slot on the camshaft. But I want to be able to put it on my Churchill timing jig. So I need to make a little adapter like this with a offset, but a different offset on the one slot to the other. I don't even know what the dimension is, but I'm going to kind of guess at it. I'm going to guess it's about 10 thou. So hopefully it should make a little interesting little machining exercise. It's not one that's going to run on an engine, so it might make it a little bit easier for me to put something together. Okay, righto, I will get myself set up then and find a piece of metal and just start machining and see what I end up with. Okay, thanks very much then. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Every job starts with cutting a piece of metal on the saw. I've just used this tool in the lathe to face the ends of the piece and put a little chamfer on. I'm just using this centre locator, a wobbler, I think it's something like that, I can't remember what it's called really, to get my position of this jaw. I'm winding this handle slowly inwards like that, and that will kick there, just kicked. Okay, and I've actually pre-done it because I've done this once before, but I thought I'd just try and get it on film. That is on the 0 there. I haven't used this for a long while, but I think that is 0.200 diameter. So basically I'm 100 thou that way from 0. So I'm going to measure the diameter of that ball and measure the diameter of my piece, and then I can go on centre and then offset myself by 31 thou. Well, I need to do some sums and work out where I need to put the cutter. A cutter, I don't even know what cutter I've got yet. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, I've just measured that there, and it is, let's see if this camera will focus in. Yeah, it's great that, isn't it? Look at that, much better than my other camera. 0.875, so that's 7/8, and I measured that ball thing that I just took out of there, and it was 0.2, so I am 0.1 there, so that's 0.875. So I'm going to have to do a little drawing because I want to machine a tang that sticks out of here that's offset 31 thou to the one side and is a certain thickness, which I have on that diagram. I will bring you back when there's more to show. Okay, I don't expect you to be able to make top and the tail of all this, but this is where I've just done some working out with the various diameters and the various offsets, and what I worked out at the end of it with my 11/16 cutter is to put this side of the tang 31 thou off centre, 32 thou off centre. I needed to have my centre 31 thou this side of the jaw. So that's what I've done. I've set it, I've wound the table over 131 thou because I was 100 off because of the 200 thing on the centre finder, and I've just started making a cut. Rather, I've made a cut and I'm just about to do the final pass, and I'm making it 200 deep, because bear in mind this is only an adapter for my jig. This isn't an adapter for running on an engine. It should be deeper than that for a running motor. But I'm just about to do the final cut, so I'll restart the machine. I've put oil on it, and I've been taking 20 thou cuts because I have used a chuck rather than my collet thing, because I'm struggling to find cutters that will fit my collets. This is a 11/16 diameter cutter. So now what I need to do is to do some sums and work out how far I need to wind the table back towards me, so my fingers are nowhere near that cutter, how far to wind the table back towards me to put the cutter down again and leave a slot, rather leave a tang that's about 0.1825 wide. So I'm going to go and do some more sums now. Well, it'll be 11/16. It'll be a whole 11/16, won't it? Plus a whole 0.1825, so that should be quite simple. I'll just add those up and move the table. Problem is I've got to take backlash into account, so I'll have to come past and then back to it. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, I've wound it across and I've took almost all the cuts. There's just one cut left to take now. I just need to go to, well, that's 180, so that's 190, so that's 200, because it's 125 plus 75 is 200. I've put some oil on. Just hold this with my other hand. Now what I did, you probably won't, I won't be able to explain it well enough, but I had to go 0.87, that's 0.875 when that was there, so I went actually 0.88, so I should have to come back to there, so that ought to be 10 thou too thick, so I'm going to measure it now. Okay, I've just found a way of rigging the camera up just above there, so let's see what that measures. .180, so I'm actually a bit undersized. 0.180, that's 0.175, so that's what, 0.180. It's a bit annoying. I hope to take another cut and just bring it down to size, but actually that's within the yeah, 0.180 or just slightly under. That's actually okay, because I was going a bit bigger So hopefully that will fit. 0.180. So what I intend to do now is saw it off, then turn it around, and then hold this piece in the jaws of the vise, and then work it out from the one side of that where I need to put the slot. And I'll need like a narrow cutter to cut the slot. I don't even know if I've got one that's suitable yet. Okay, it's nominally a 3/16 wide thing. Okay, I'll bring it back when I've got more to show. And you can see from this end of it, and you can see from this end of it, that there is some sort of offset on there, because you can see the turning marks, that the turning marks are close to the one edge than the other. Cool. Hopefully it's come out okay. What's really annoying is that fits these cams really well. This one's a brand new cam. That fits in there really well, nice and tight. And it fits in there. This is a used cam. That fits in there really well, nice and snug. But on the timing jig, it's loose. So, and I've just measured this, and it is 0.190. In fact, I've got 0.195 there, 0.194. So 0.192. So I'm going to have to do this again. I'll do it on the other end, but what I'll do, I'll go to my numbers. No, I'm not going to be able to do it, am I? Well, I know my numbers, so what I'll do, I'll go to my numbers and modify the numbers to make it wider. It's about, it wants to be about 12 thou wider. The light ain't right here, is it? That's no good though, is it? Okay, but the principle is correct. So I'll go and have another go. Back in a bit. Yeah, okay, that's all right. That's about 0.196. Okay, let's go and see if it'll fit. It's okay because it's a little bit too tight. It goes in at the ends. I think there's a little bit of wear in the slot. This end kind of goes in there, so I'll just carefully file it. It only needs a couple of thou, and that'll go in then. Okay, I just took a couple of licks with a file, and it fits okay now. Very slight play, but not too bad. Oh, hang on, that's, yeah, minimal play, minimal play. Okay. The play I'm feeling is actually in the shaft there. Yeah, that's okay. and it feels sort of concentric on the shaft. Not that that's massively important, but okay, good. That's phase one then. I need to cut this off now and cut this off and then start machining the slot. Okay, back in a bit. I've just had an idea how to align this to within the tolerances that I require, and basically I took the piece that was left over and turned it down in the lathe and put it in the chuck, and now by feeling it side to side there and side to side there and moving the handles, I've aligned that as far as I can tell on the center line of the slug. So this is aligned with the big side on this side. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so I'm on the actual center of the piece. I'm not centered over the tang. So I'm going to use this small milling cutter and I'm going to put a slot. Now I've got to kind of make a judgment. I don't know actually what that cam's machined to. I'm going to guess it's around 15 thou instead of 30, 31, 32 thou. So I'm going to go 15 thou off center and put this cutter through and then make an adjustment to widen it out to the width that I want. That's what I think I'm going to do. So in other words, if I went pardon me, 31 thou that way, I'd be over this tang. So instead of 31 thou, I'm going to go half of that and say 15 thou and just machine it and see how it goes. I've got nothing better than to just, I suppose I could measure the distributor, couldn't I? Maybe I should measure the distributor and see what I can tell from that. Okay, I'll see if I can learn anything from the distributor first before I start making guesses. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. I haven't used as small a cutter as this before. That's 80 thou deep, that is, in 10 thou increments. This is a 4mm cutter. And I've gone for an 18 thou offset from the centre. Pure guesswork. But what I think I'm going to do is just leave it at this. Now this slot ought to be too narrow. And what I'll do, I'll offer it up and hand file it until the thing goes in. So I can file it either way. You know, and I'm not sure if I want more offset or less offset. Small cutter, but it is fairly new, I think. Right, that's 160, I think. Yeah, 125 plus 35. I'm not sure how deep I need to make this. I'll go and get a measurement. Like I said, this isn't a running adapter, it's just for the jig. I'll go and get a dimension. I got 211 thou over there on the distributor, so when this goes to 75, which it's at now, 75, that's actually 200 thou. Because it's 125 on the first turn, and then so I'll go another 10. I'll go another 20 thou. Okay, that'll do. I suppose I could kind of offer the distributor in, couldn't I? Let's try that. See, that end of it goes in and that end doesn't quite go in. That's my problem. The one tang there, the one tang is narrower than that tang. That's how I managed to get it to go in, by cutting it on a taper. So really I only need to file one end of it. What I might do is just open this end a little bit here, a few thou with the cutter. Okay, that goes in now, sort of. So a little bit of filing. Now we'll get that. What I want it so it just drops in without any messing about. Hello, right, here's the distributor sitting on the jig. The adapter is in place down there. I'm not very happy about the situation, to be honest. You know, this is a lot of faff and fiddle when the cam was machined wrong in the first place. I've had to space the plate up with these washers, but it does work okay. You can see that it kind of engages, and if it had gravity in its favour, hang on. So that's raising and lowering and engaging okay, I would say, and not kind of getting bound up. So I think that'll do. Okay, so there's the distributor. That's the modified tang there, which is not great, is it? And there's my little adapter, and there's the original shaft, and you can see there's, well, I don't know if you can see, there's just a very slight difference in the offsets. This has more offset than that, and this has been filed a little bit to accommodate that taper that I've got going on. Okay, right. Plus it's been an interesting little project on the milling machine on a rainy day. I'll now use the jig to set the timing after I have cleaned and lubed and reassembled the points. Okay, thanks a lot then. I'll catch you on the next one. Hello. I've just done something that seemed to work quite well, so I thought I'd just show you. Basically, I put all these parts in my ultrasonic cleaner. I'm going to clean up these points and clean all these things up. They're just good quality old ones. But what did seem to work quite well is I took these parts, these very small parts, which you would normally lose. And I wrapped them in this piece of cloth, and I put a cable tie around them, and it's actually a cable tie that you can undo, and they appear to have, you know, been cleaned effectively and have been retained in this piece of cloth. So that worked quite well. So I thought I'd just show that, because that appears to be a good little hack, you know, this hack that they don't want you to know about. So there you go, there's a good little trick there. So I'll clean these parts up, and I'll reassemble them into the distributor. This is the distributor from Old Rusty, and it's got the special adapter that I made underneath it. I've just given that a little wipe out. Everything looks fine in there. I appear to have put a second washer there. I think that might have been a mistake, so I'll leave that out because it appears to be a little bit pressed out of shape. Okay, anyway, that's that. So hopefully this can go back together. Yeah, it looks like that's been rubbing there under the middle of there. Okay, everything's not looking too bad. I'll give it a little bit of a clean up and assemble it back up, and then I'll go through the process of setting the points, which I've done a few times and can be a bit tedious to film. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing. I'm cleaning up the points, and that seemed to work quite well, wrapping those in a cloth, and you put them in the ultrasonic cleaner. Okay, righto, I'll catch you later. Bye. Hello. Right, I've cleaned things up and reassembled. Basically just wire brushed a lot of the parts. I've just paid particular attention to make sure that that point there is, you know, square to the points as far as I can tell. And that one there, they're nice, and they appear to be well aligned, well enough aligned for this job. Everything looks okay. Had a job getting that split pin in, but it did go in. I put a tiny bit of grease on the pivots, so I'll put it back into the distributor and see how it goes. Okay, this is rather hard to illustrate, but basically the instructions are to close off the right hand set of points, and then you set it so that this set of points goes to 22.5, is on for 22.5. So let's just see if we can do that then. So let's take this, that's off. So you set this to 0 where it starts making the noise, right? There. So I just need to come around a tiny bit. Let's try that. Now what I found is that you get a slightly different result with each F. So let's see, right, so that should be 0 there, hang on. There. Okay. And you watch it come round, and hopefully it should go off around about the 22.5. Oh, 21. Let's try this one. F on. There's 22. Okay, I might be fooling myself a little bit, but on about 1 degree after 21, on, off. Okay, that one is about right. You have to realise that you can chase your tail with this. You have to realise you can chase your tail with this, adjusting it back and forth. And I went through all the iterations. That's about as good as I can get it. But what you do then, what I've been doing, and this is kind of works quite well, is, hang on, I kind of need 2 hands. Let's see if I can. You hold that still, and you move this one around till that 35 degrees lines up with the F. Okay, just there. So in other words, that's going off at 35 degrees. There, right. So then you take the insulation out of the first set of points, and you want the noise to start at 0 on the other set of points. Right about there, that's within a degree. Then off at 35, there. And then on at around about 0, that was a little bit ahead. But what you can then start doing is say, well, we want it to go off at the 10 and on at the 0. Off. Because the off aligns with the 35, you see, because it's 10 before, 45 total. And then on at the 10. On at the 0, rather. I'm about a degree early, but I still think that's going to be okay. And that's within half a degree. So, you know what I mean, you kind of have to pick your battles with this, and I'm going to say that's good enough. That'll run fine. I could spend another hour and a half trying to get it better, and I might get it very, very slightly better, but it's just not, there's very little benefit, increase in benefit for the amount of time you spend. So I'm going to say that that's good enough, and that's the best way that I've found to do it. You close this, you insulate that set of points, you set it so that this set of points, you adjust these set of points so that you get 22.5. You then readjust the slide so that it's opening on the 35 degree, and then you adjust this set of points so it's closing on the 0. And there's the spec. The Ford type small cam, left hand points, 22.5 degrees, combined 35.5. So that's okay. The second thing you can do is set the timing. So I'll do that now. Hang on. I'll do it and then show you how I did it. So you make sure this is engaged in the slot, and the way I've been doing it is to tap the timing plate that way till you get the noise, like that. Kind of. Then you tap the timing plate this way till the noise stops. Bit for luck, because what tends to happen is when you do this up, the noise comes back again, like that. If you just wobble it around, rattle it about, You can tell it's just on the cusp, so that's good enough in my book. I could go a little bit more. Shall I go a little bit more just to prove the point? Give it one more tap. Okay, don't know if that did anything. Now, it definitely... Can you see how sensitive it is? Okay. There we are. It's right on the cusp, isn't it? Okay, that'll do. I'll put it so it's not making a noise. I'll put this back in, even though it's backed off all the way. So that is it. Just nip that. See how sensitive it is? Oh no, that's because that is touching earth somewhere. Okay, right, I'll turn it off. Okay, so this distributor then is ready to go back on the car. I was reading a post on the Ford barn, and one of the contributors on that post made a very good point. That, and it was to do with like fitting this in correctly. If when it's fitted you don't have any sort of free play like that, there's something wrong. It's bound up. You've got to have free play like that. So check for that. It should be fine if you've got a little bit of free play like that. Okay, I'll fit this to the car then, and hopefully for all intents and purposes it'll be as good as it gets. That's my adapter button that I made. Right, okay, let's fit it. I'll see you in a bit. I just offered it in. And it seemed to slip into place nicely. So I thought, okay, I'll just you know, practice what you preach. So I just got these pair of pliers on there, and you can see that there's, you know, nice little bit of movement there. It's not bound up. If it was fitted wrongly, that would be all bound up and you wouldn't get that movement. It was a little bit, I couldn't quite do it with my fingers, but with a pair of pliers I could do it quite easily. So there's a hot little tip there, good little tip. Okay, I'll tighten it up and get it back in one piece. Okay, I've put the distributor back on. So let's see if it'll start. I noticed some coolant there in that plug hole. I'll try giving it a bit of choke. gave it a bit on the old idle with the screwdriver. Yeah, there's water here, look. So I need to... Yeah, okay, I can see it there. It's coming from here, isn't it, somewhere? Or here. Can you see coolant there? I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Can you see it down there, look? There. Also looks to be some in the bottom of the radiator, but I refilled this radiator and it all gushed out, so I don't know, I'll have to take it for another run. Probably not today though. But there's the distributor and it seems to be running okay, and what I'll do, I will set it up with a timing light so that it, you know, I can check it properly. That setup that I just did is enough to get it going. Okay, good. Jolly good. Got about just over a quarter of a tank. It's charging. Just starting to warm up. Plenty of oil pressure. Got a problem, look. Got a problem. I've got a hole in my radiator, haven't I? Or something. Coming out of here, isn't it? No, it's pouring out the cap, look. Okay. I'll turn it off, I think, while I investigate. That's a job for another day. Anyway, it's running okay. Right. Thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. I'll bring you back when there's more to show, but for now, cheers then, take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.